Yeah. We're going to take a break. It looks like the Fever are heading back to the locker room.
My God, a game like this will make you question not just the Indiana Fever, but the WNBA as a whole. I mean, seriously, what in the world did we just watch? That opening stretch with all the shot clock malfunctions, pure chaos. Like, are we running a professional league here or a middle school scrimmage? Because I swear, even middle schools have cleaner operations than what we just saw tonight. And let me tell you, this wasn't just painful, it was downright exhausting to sit through. Easily one of the hardest games I've had to watch all season. And that's saying something, because usually the Golden State Valkyries are fun to watch. Honestly, they're an entertaining team. And their coach. Let me just say, of all the coaching hires this offseason, she's the one that clearly knows what the hell she's doing. She gets it. She's sharp. Meanwhile, our Fever? Phew. Let's talk about the so-called highlight of the night. Kate Martin moment? Maybe. Caitlin Clark walking into the arena before tip-off? Yep, that might have been the only positive. And I'm not even kidding. You could argue that was the best part of the whole night. Because the second that ball got tossed up, it was downhill from there. The Fever got flat out run out of the gym. And let's not sugarcoat it. The Valkyries have completely owned Indiana this season. They've kicked the crap out of us every single time. Now, before I get even deeper into this disaster, let me lay out some context on why I'm this fired up. Outside of the embarrassing shot clock fiascos and the dragged-out game pace, here's where we stand. The Fever just dropped into the 8th and final playoff seed. That's right, last playoff spot. Hanging by a thread. And with the way this team played, we don't even look like we belong in the postseason picture right now. And don't even get me started on the officiating. Someone please, I'm begging, clip Natasha Howard's traveling tour from tonight. Because she wasn't hooping, she was out here taking a casual stroll. 5 steps in one direction, ball in hand, 0 dribbles. And somehow, no whistle. Not once. I counted at least 4, maybe 5 separate travels they just swallowed. Are we blind out here? But it gets better, or worse, depending on your patience. You know how long the first half took? 1 hour and 32 minutes. Let me repeat. 92 minutes of our lives for just 2 quarters of basketball. That's not hoops, that's torture. And it's on the league. Kathy Englebert, the commissioner. Pay us back. Seriously, you owe every single one of us who sat through this mess. Because tonight wasn't just a loss for the Fever. It wasn't just another L in the standings. It was a failure of execution, of officiating, of operations, of leadership. A total breakdown. And if this is what playoff basketball looks like, then Indiana Fever fans better brace themselves. Because this ride is about to get bumpy. Indiana Fever keep WNBA team out of playoffs with loss on Sunday. Indiana Fever fall to 8th seed in playoffs with crucial loss to Golden State Valkyries. In a stop-and-go game because of shot clock issues and reviews, the Indiana Fever fell to the Golden State Valkyries, 75-63, on Sunday night. The Fever were swept for the first time this season with the loss, as Golden State has now won all 3 games in the regular season series. Indiana is 21-19. Indiana will finish its road trip on Tuesday at Phoenix. Here are 3 observations. Shot clock issues impact first half of game. The number of stoppages in the first half made it take nearly the same amount of time as an entire game. The first half, after 5 clock stoppages, 4 timeouts, and 4 reviews, 2 referee-initiated, 2 challenges, took 92 minutes. A typical WNBA game takes about 2 hours. The clock issues started early, as officials stopped the game on the Fever's first possession after the shot clock did not reset. There was a delay of about 5 minutes before play resumed. 1 minute of game time later, the clocks malfunctioned again. This delay took a whopping 20 minutes, and some players went back to the locker room to wait out the delay. The Valkyries pointed to a power outage that happened earlier in the morning as the reason for the shot clock malfunctioning. Employees installed temporary shot clocks on the baseline, turning off the over-basket shot clocks entirely. There continued to be minor clock issues, even with the baseline shot clocks, for a total of 5 stoppages in play for technical difficulties. Add in 4 timeouts and 4 reviews, 2 referee-initiated, 2 challenges. And there could be a new record for the longest first half in WNBA history. That stop-and-go timing definitely impacted the Fever's rhythm. They shot just 35% from the field in the first quarter, while the Valkyries made 7 three-pointers in those same 10 minutes of game time. Fever seesaw in standings again. The margin between the 6th to 8th place spots in the WNBA standings is less than 1.5 games, and the Fever felt the brunt of that on Sunday night. With their loss to the Valkyries, the Fever will drop from 6th place to 8th, the final playoff spot, with 4 games left in the season. This was one of those games that was crucial for the Fever, especially considering their proximity in the standings to the Valkyries. Golden State has swept Indiana in the 3-game season series, and they will hold the head-to-head tiebreaker. Indiana is now 21-19 behind Seattle, 6th at 22-19, and Golden State, 7th at 21-18. The Fever are still 2 games ahead of 9th place Los Angeles for the final playoff spot. The Fever will have the extra step of finishing at least 1 game ahead of the Sparks, however, as Los Angeles holds the head-to-head tiebreaker. Indiana has some winnable games remaining on its schedule. It is 1-1 in the season series with Phoenix, its next opponent, and has Chicago, a team it has beaten 4 times after that. Indiana will also play Washington, which is already eliminated from playoff contention, and Minnesota, which already clinched the top seed in the playoffs. Valkyries obliterate Fever from 3-point range. The zone defense wasn't working for Indiana on Sunday night, and Golden State took full advantage. Through the stop-and-go first quarter, Golden State managed to stay in a rhythm from 3-point range. They exploited Indiana's zone for catch-and-shoot 3-pointers, going a whopping 7 of 8 from beyond the arc in the first 10 minutes. Golden State continued its hot shooting from 3-point range throughout the game, finishing with a 12 of 19 mark. Overall, the Valkyries shot over 50% from the field. Indiana, on the other hand, only made 6 three-pointers on a 20% clip, shooting 32% overall from the field.
Whenever we do talk about adversity, even for the Golden State Valkyries, it's happening a lot around the league, and especially for a team like the Indiana Fever, when you have someone out like Caitlin Clark, who just is dropping dimes left and right when she is out there on the floor. It's tough, but everyone has stepped up, and especially like we've been talking about with Kelsey Mitchell.
So there's a bit of a delay because they're working out.
After losing games, someone shared this on over X. Thank you, Stephanie White. Indiana Fever fans not happy. You can read the all reactions. Let's see what Stephanie White said.
To start out, the shot clock issues in the first quarter, do you think that affected the rhythm of the game? How did you try to help the team with that?
I mean, it certainly affected the rhythm of the game. I don't know if it, affected the readiness, at all. But yeah, I mean, it's disruptive. It's not something that you expect to see. But we often talk about controlling the things that we can control, and we couldn't control that. So staying warm, and staying engaged. And, I thought that, we did what we could to work through the issue. And kudos to everybody that had a hand in at least working it out. But then, we came out and we weren't ready those first, 5-6 minutes of the quarter.
Ariel pointed to the defensive miscues, and the Golden State started 7 of 8 from
Mm-hmm.
they shot over 50% from the field.
Yep.
Just what were they able to do to exploit it?
Well, they're really good at spacing the floor. Their passes are on time and on target. So you can't make a lot of defensive mistakes. And I felt like we overhelped. I mean, we were trying to not allow catch and shoot threes. We didn't want to overhelp on drivers. We overhelped. We over rotated. The timing on our rotation wasn't very good, and we gave them wide open catch and shoot threes. And they are a really good team when they can get that.
You talked about how defense turns into offense too. 33% of the field today.
Yeah.
Do you think that kind of connects to with the defensive round?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you're always taking the ball out of the net, it's tough to get some easy ones in transition. It's tough to get them in rotation, and they're also an excellent defensive team. And so sometimes if you don't take your easy read, it becomes a little bit more difficult. I just felt like we weren't aggressive. We were very tentative offensively. We didn't play with any kind of pace. So even when we had opportunities to run in transition, we were jogging the ball up the floor. We allowed them to set their defense, and they're one of the best defensive teams in the league, and you can't allow them to do that.
You guys are kind of bouncing in between 6
Yeah, I mean, every game is important, and certainly when you have an opportunity to play against opponents that you're vying for playoff implications, it is. And it's one game at a time for us, and focusing on the next opponent. And I felt like anytime we potentially had an opportunity. I mean, it was like a 5-point game with 7.5 minutes left. We had an opportunity to close the gap, and we just had some mental breakdowns that killed us and allowed them to go on runs. And so, we gotta learn from this one, and we gotta go into Phoenix, and we gotta be better. Thank you.